Hello, Anthony. I ask in English to you. Have some functions in Joomla version 1.0, then don't have more in don't have 1.5 version. Example, you cannot make a link to menu directly from the article. This function is too much user for the many users. Why don't have more this function in 1.5 version, and can happen this again in the next version 1.6, or this function is can back to this next version?
Okay. The simple answer to that, the reason it wasn't in is it was forgotten about. To be dead honest, we forgot to implement that feature. The long answer to that question, there's a famous quote, perfection is achieved not when there is nothing left to add, but when there is nothing left to remove. Personally, I understand it's a great shortcut, and I'm not saying that it shouldn't be there from that standpoint, but it doesn't fit. When you're creating content, menus are something different. It doesn't fit that workflow, it doesn't fit that vibe, which is why it wasn't added in once we realized it. With extensions, and there is an extension that does add that functionality without hacking the core of the CMS. So we're looking to provide that extendability, that we don't have to provide things like that in the core, but that a simple extension can install that functionality. And with the new version 1.6, we have a package installer, so you can actually take your favorite extensions, lump them into one big package, and install it one shot. So every time that you set up a new website, one click and everything's configured how you want it and how you like it. So I hope that answers that question. Okay. Next.
Eu percebo que pela organização, a organização dos arquivos atuais da parte da base de dados, né, já sugere uma futura utilização de outras possibilidades, de outros bancos, talvez PostgreSQL. Eu já percebo isso pela organização de arquivos, mas eu sei que hoje isso ainda não existe. Mas já há trabalhos fortes nesse sentido, isso já poderia ser feito a partir de alguma versão 1.5 adaptada, ou mesmo na 1.6?
Well, this question is actually very near and dear to me. I worked in about for the past two and a half years, I've been working on trying to solve that problem so that Joomla can be run on multiple database systems. The short answer is it's not an easy problem at all. We had a Google Summer of Code, which is a Google-sponsored internship last year to try to make a push for supporting multiple databases. Unfortunately, it didn't work out as well as we would have liked. The short answer is we'd love to implement that. The long answer is it has to be right. The big hurdle is in the translation of the SQL queries. What we don't want to happen is to be able to connect and have generic SQL and kill performance on all systems. We'd rather perform very, very, very well on MySQL and not support Microsoft SQL Server than to run poorly on all. So if we can come up with a high-performant, highly stable solution, then absolutely. Until we come up with that, I personally don't see a benefit to doing it. You know, do it right or don't do it at all. And so far, I haven't seen a good solution. I haven't even been able to come up with a good solution. So I hope that.
Só uma observação a respeito nesse sentido. Eu já vejo alguns desenvolvedores que lutam para criar algo nessa linha, né? Inclusive, há algum desenvolvedor que eu tive notícia de Brasília, capital, que está começando a desenvolver isso para Oracle. Talvez ele deve postar algo na comunidade
he will
Ou nos
probably
fóruns
post
mais pra
something in
frente.
the forums or the community later on.
Well, excellent. That's exactly what we want. Like I said, we haven't been able to come up with a good solution, but that doesn't mean one doesn't exist. So if we can find it, amazing.
Olá, meu nome é Franklin. Eu gostaria de saber informações sobre a ferramenta de Access Control Level, a ACL. Porque do mesmo problema que a gente tem no WordPress, de não ter um controle muito legal de vamos dizer assim, de permissões, isso na verdade é agravado no Joomla, né? Então nós temos mais problemas ainda de ter que ficar fazendo soluções em português bem claro nosso, fazer gambiarras ou hacks, né, para resolver esse tipo de situação. E isso é muito comum no desenvolvimento. Isso está previsto para a versão 1.6? Tem alguma coisa nesse sentido?
Absolutely. The whole point of 1.6 and the major feature set that's being developed right now is access control levels. That's the whole point of the 1.6 release, and that's why it's actually been delayed, is we want to make sure that we get it right. Make it, and stick with the power and simplicity methodology, that we want to make sure that we make ACL, make it robust enough so that it fits your needs, yet make it easy enough to use where we're not cutting down the amount of people who can use it. So absolutely, it is a big problem. We realize it's a big problem, and we're coming out with a solution.
É a hora da verdade agora. É a hora da verdade. Eu comecei a trabalhar com o Joomla quando aconteceu o fork entre Mambo e Joomla. Na verdade, eu já trabalhava com Mambo na versão 4.5, que eu lembro do Ryan, também já estava lá brincando, e o próprio Anthony também. Para nós, acredito que para nós que estamos desde esta época, o fork foi algo muito difícil, muito duro para a gente, porque o Mambo era uma ferramenta muito interessante e infelizmente o projeto cada vez ficou mais fraco e o Joomla cresceu. A pergunta é mais uma pergunta conceitual no seguinte sentido: será que nós que estávamos lá naquele momento, nós matamos o Mambo fazendo este fork? Será que não era melhor nós termos trocado aquela ideia da diretoria do Peter, que ele queria, vamos dizer, tomar conta, cuidar de tudo? Será que não era melhor a gente tentar parar isso, do que a gente criar um fork e fazer o Joomla? I know, man. Okay. I know, it's a hard question. I know that.
Depth of the community at that point. I know what happened. I know why things happened. But one of the big things that undermines, well, not undermines, that I practice today and I preach today that actually applies to this very situation is change is never bad. Change is never bad. It can be disruptive. It can be painful. But change in and of itself is good. It's healthy. So, yes, it hurt a lot, but in the end, look at the great things. Look at everybody here. Look at the great communities. And Mambo has gone, since our fork, has gone through, I believe it's 6 or 7 other forks, and there are a couple very healthy projects right now that came from that original code base. But change is good. Embrace change in and of itself.
That is a very good question.